Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my review for Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 12, which was titled Weak. This episode was interesting. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. It was kind of just in between. There's parts of it I absolutely loved, and parts of it that I felt like just were way too slow, and I feel like so far the second half of the season, there's not really much story going on. More so, it's just a lot of character development, which character development's great because you need it for later episodes. It makes deaths more important, it makes certain storylines more important. But I feel like it's just going way too slow than what it should be, personally. And I don't know why that is. I don't know, if they're putting too much character development into it to the point where it feels like we're just getting too much of that and not enough story. I'm not too sure how I feel about that, but at the same time, I'm not hating it. I still think I've been enjoying the past 4 episodes more than, most episodes of Fear, most seasons of Fear, and which is definitely a good thing. But yeah, this episode, it was interesting. So we had 2 different storylines going on. We had June. I was about to call her Naomi because she has like 80 different names, but June and Al were off on their own, and they had some interesting stuff going on. That was probably the most interesting part of the whole episode. Then you also had Morgan and those other 3 truckers just chilling at that rest stop, or the mile 27 marker, I believe, and they were just chilling there waiting to find the rest of their people, and because Morgan wanted to wait there, obviously. But that wasn't the main portion of the episode. The main portion was obviously everything going on with Althea as well as June, and there was some really good development that was done between characters like Althea. I thought this was basically Althea's episode. She's definitely the standout character in this episode, if you were to, mention a standout character. I really liked how she got sick because, part of me, I really enjoy when The Walking Dead handles situations like this. Stuff that happens in real life, like sickness and different problems. When characters come across it, I find it to be very interesting because you're already trying to survive in this world with walkers and all this other stuff, and then you have to now survive against a sickness. It adds a lot to the table. It adds a lot of problems and obstacles the characters to come across, and I enjoy watching it. That's why season 4 from The Walking Dead, the whole sickness storyline, was one of my favorite storylines in the entire Walking Dead series, and it was a new storyline. It wasn't even in the comics. And so when Althea got sick, I was pretty interested in what was going to happen. I feel like they definitely kind of went over it a little too quick, though, because she was like A-okay right after she took the meds. She was A-okay. I'm pretty sure they did a little bit of a time skip, not of like a long time. I'm talking like maybe like 8 hours or something. I'm pretty sure they did, because there's no way she would have gotten that much better just from taking meds to an hour later. I'm sure there was a couple hours in between the time when she took the meds and when she decided to take off, or when they decided to take off together, because she looked fine right after she took the meds. I did like the guy Quinn they came across. I thought he was interesting because he's like most people out there in the apocalypse. They don't trust anybody. And, I see where he's coming from. I'm not like, bashing him, saying, oh, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Why can't he just, be chill? You just sometimes just can't trust people, man. You just can't. And I think he went overboard, definitely. But I do like how June got the upper hand and did not kill him, because part of me wanted him to see June kill him. But the other part of me was like, well, the guy doesn't deserve it. He's just, paranoid, obviously. So I don't think June really had to do any sort of killing. And I do like how she called him over and said on the walkie, come here. And then, of course, that crazy bitch comes out of nowhere with a walker, which I heard people complaining about this. Now, I have no major issue with Ronnie Hayes. Ronnie Hayes is this, he's this YouTuber called Make a Path Presents. He's Walking Dead YouTuber specifically. And I watched his review for this episode last night. I was watching it, and because he live streams after every episode and does a review, and he was complaining about a lot of things because he's a very nitpicking type of a fellow. Look, not that I have a problem with people nitpicking things. It's just sometimes I feel like, because that's how you watch a show. However you watch a show is fine, but the stuff he notices and the stuff that bothers him, that he says bothers him, and he's like, oh, it took me out of the moment. He says that a lot. It's like stuff I just never really think to note the first time I watch it. Maybe the second time, but the first time I don't think about it because it's not that important. I'm not the nitpicking type of a fellow. If there's something I don't like, I'll notice it the first time around, Because he was complaining about the walker that snuck up behind Quinn and not bit on his neck, obviously, the one that the crazy lady had. He said the walker was way too quiet, so it's unrealistic. He complains a lot about a lot of unrealistic things, and he said it takes him out of the moment. It bothers him. It pisses him off. I'm like, dude, it's a TV show, man. Like, it's a TV show. There's stuff like that happens in every TV show because there's always something that the writers don't really think about, or when they're filming it, they don't really think about it because it's a TV show and they don't feel like it's important. What's important is the story, the character development, the acting, the directing. That's all important. But something as small as the walker not making enough noise for you for the person to hear it is just so silly. Like, there could be many factors that go into it. I can't really, explain it, but what I usually do and try to enjoy TV shows and movies more is when there's something like that, something people call plot holes, which are not really a plot hole because this isn't really a plot point. This is literally just a walker not making much sound. I try to just think of something that I can make up on my own that kind of, explains why something happened, because it makes it feel a lot better and it makes it your experience of watching it a lot better. You know what I'm saying? So when you have stuff like that complaining, because I feel like when people complain about Walking Dead specifically, they tend to jump into arguments about stuff like that, stuff that's small nitpicks, stuff that's not important for the episode, stuff that actually does not make that much of a difference to the story. It just might get into the way to perfectionists, you know what I'm saying? That's what I usually see. When I read IMDb reviews, when I read reviews for anything, Fear the Walking Dead or The Walking Dead, the complaints about the episode are never about actual story elements or character points or criticizing a certain actual thing. Like, maybe 10% of the time I'll see that, maybe. But 90% of the time, it's literally just people saying, Rick should have shot Negan. How did he miss? Oh, that's stupid. How did the walker sneak up behind it? How did no one wake up when the walker fell on the stairs? Stuff like that. Stuff that's really just complete small nitpicks and is not really important. And it's not actually, it doesn't describe bad writing. It just makes you, confused about, how did no one wake up? Okay, maybe everyone's a heavy sleeper. Maybe you just didn't watch it hard enough. Maybe you didn't see what happened. Or maybe they just didn't give enough fucks about small details like that only weirdos will notice. So, whatever. That's just a rant I wanted to get on my chest real quick because it's something I felt like a lot of people will mention this episode from that walker that bit on Quinn. But I do like how they did that. Could they have made it better? Yes. Anything could be made better. But it's not going to take my whole entire experience of this episode and just smush it and throw it on the floor and make this episode terrible. It is not going to do that. It is not that important to me. Could it have been better? Yes. They could have done something else. They could have had the black lady come up and shoot the guy in the head or something, or in the stomach, or stab him in the stomach even. So he would turn like she was planning. But personally, I think that having the walker eat him is a little cooler, and that's what they were going for. They probably didn't think of it. Could they have done it better? Yes. Should they have been thinking of it? Probably. But not everyone's perfect. Not everyone's perfect. I just don't think it's enough to take me out of the moment. It's not enough to ruin the episode. It's not enough to make me bothered or pissed off. Like, how do you get pissed off by a TV show? I'll never know. I'll never know. The only time I get pissed off by a TV show is when they do something so drastic that, changes my certain love for it. I'm like when the character leaves or something like that. But literally having something that seems unrealistic and you wouldn't even notice it on your first time watching. I mean, maybe some people would, but most people wouldn't. It's just not something you should be complaining about. But I digress. I enjoyed the majority of the episode with the character development that June and Althea had. Really, that was all the character development we had. Everyone else didn't really have much development. Morgan and stuff like that, they really didn't do much with them. They were just kind of chilling and talking and having dialogue conversations. It wasn't really that in-depth, that important to the story. I do like how the black lady was poisoning the water. I didn't notice that on my first time watching. I actually saw a tweet about it, but I actually did not notice. I didn't know what she was doing. I thought she was just filling the water, or filling the bottles with more water, and that was for herself. But then she put it back in the thing, and then I guess the water was like dirty or something. Was it? I don't know. It might have been walker infested. That's what I heard. So I'm thinking Althea probably drank the water and one of those water bottles, and she probably ended up getting sick from that. That's what I assume. But yes, hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.